King of Kings. It is witnessed. I'm the king.
Hello guys, this is Trep here, and I'm going to be going through a PvP loadout for Quantum today. I've done obviously a couple of loadout videos for PvE DPS. I'm going to be getting around to doing a controller one shortly, but I've decided to do a bit more PvPing, get back into that. Obviously I spent a lot of time on the tier 5 content, but now I want to get back to PvP. It's been a bit of a jump for me. Obviously I've come from an earth tank to a controller, so it's quite a different feeling having a weaker character, you know, with a lot less life. A tank, you can't do a lot of damage, but you can last a long time. You can have quite a few different players on you at once and survive, and you know, it's quite a big leap for me to come to control. And I did try quite a few different combinations of powers, and eventually I've come to one that works well for me, and rather than getting my ass kicked every time, I'm actually doing the ass kicking myself. I'm not full tier 4 yet, due to switching from a tank. I pretty much all had tier 3 at that point, and then I think I had one item left to get. When I swapped over, I thought I could just buy that last item and it would unlock, but for some reason didn't give me the right CR, so I've had to buy it all again. So in the next few days I should be able to get up to full tier 4. But as you can see, it's all pretty much, I think it all is now. Yeah, so it's all DPS gear. And with DPS mods as well, might, dominance, health, alpha. Obviously, I'll do a little video about this as well, but you want to obviously put in at least alphas on even when you're gearing up to unlock your innate powers. I'm going to do another video on that shortly. Okay, so the loadout itself. In the time tree, we're going to be unlocking Tachyon Burst, which is our power over time. We're going to want Anomaly, which is our power for, it's our debuff for taking away a healer's healing ability. Obviously controllers are strongest against healer, and it also removes power over time from controllers. We have Time Bomb, which reduces our enemy's defense, and we've got a self shield time bubble. There's also an effect, because we're using the time tree. Tachyon Burst destabilizes our enemy and stuns and lifts them, as does Anomaly, and our Time Bomb does more damage once that enemy is destabilized. Okay, on the space tree, we're also getting quite a few powers. We want to be coming down first of all to get Energy Expulsion. Energy Expulsion is our 35% health or low finisher. So basically once they get to 35% health, hit them with this. If it crits, it's game over for them, and even if it doesn't, you're still going to be doing some very heavy damage, you know, at least 800 on the third tick, and if it crits, you can be doing anywhere between sort of close to probably about 1500, 2000 damage, which is going to finish off pretty much any opponent at 35%. The last slot that we want on our loadout, it actually can be whatever you want it to be, really. I've gone down this, used 3 skill points to get to Gravity 1. This is a damage over time, which is always useful to be able to put out, because obviously they're going to be taking damage whether you're knocked down or not, or being able to continue damage. But it's also good when you're trying to do content where you have to take a node, or you have to hold something. You know, being able to put this out means that they either have to sit there and take the damage, or they have to leave the node to get out of your damage over time effect field, which means obviously you can carry on taking that area. So that's quite useful to have. It also allows you to unlock Einstein's Ray, which you can swap this out depending on what you're doing. For example, if you're doing the safe houses 4 versus 4, where you have to get the graviton tech, This is a good way of being able to stun, pull, and pretty much just mess with your enemies, which is pretty much your job, to stop them from taking the crystal or whatever it is to the portal and getting it yourself. So it's quite good for you to be able to swap one of these out depending on what the content is. If you're not really interested in either of these and you want to run a supercharge instead, I would suggest buying Event Horizon for group content when you have, like a team of 8 versus 8, 5 versus 5, 4 versus 4. This gives a shield to the whole team, power over time for the whole team, and also, protects them from damage and deals a bit of damage, reflects damage. So it's a really, really good supercharge, 50% one. And for 1 versus 1, not really duels, because I think it's a bit unfair to use supercharge in duels, but each to their own. This one for the 1 versus 1 content, closed loop. If you want to be running a supercharge, this is the one that you want. This is your self heal. It's 35%, so it's pretty quick to charge up. It gives you an initial amount of health, and then gives you also healing over time, but it also prevents damage from you, breaks you out of control effects, and gives you resistance to them. So it's pretty much your, emergency backup power, which is really nice to have in 1 versus 1. And then what I've done is, on this last one, I've had 1 more point. I've got the extra toughness. You could have gone for the extra health, you could have gone for one of the weapons expert ones, or you could have gone for obviously the extra power and vitalization, or you could have bought one of the supercharges if you'd want. If you think you're going to be using one of those, you can have those, so you can swap them in and out. Okay, so as for our loadout, obviously we're running in control mode, so it's the controlled loadout. First of all, we've got Tachyon Burst, which is our power over time, and our time bubble, which is our personal shield. Obviously I've set it up like this because I hit the power over time first, so that I'm straight away getting power over time, and then I hit time bubble straight away after, because you can hit these pretty much exactly the same time, and you're protected against initial damage, and you can go straight into the fight straight away protected. Then you're going to be using Anomaly, so that's why it's here. Anomaly is your, like I said, reduces the target's ability to heal and removes their power over time effect. So this is good against your healers and your trolls. It also stuns, lifts them up in the air. It affects everybody around you. So if you're in a big group of people, you can stun pretty much everybody, which is a really, really useful, nice little move. It's really quick, quite a quick animation as well. So it's a nice clip for your weapon attacks. So use a weapon attack, clip Anomaly on the final bit. Then go into another weapon attack after that, and use Time Bomb. Time Bomb then reduces their defenses. Also, again, if you do this straight into a big crowd of players, if you're in the big content, this hits everybody, or it hits the single player if you're doing the one target person. It does more damage as well, because obviously we've destabilized them with Tachyon Burst or with Anomaly. Then we've got our NG Expulsion, which is our finishing move. So basically keep clipping these two with your weapon attacks. So use your weapon attack, clip this one's got a faster cooldown, then this one, then probably a couple of times on this one, then back to that one, a couple of times on this one. Obviously keeping an eye on your pot to put that back up in your shield. And once they get down to 35%, start clipping your weapon attacks with NG Expulsion. If you get a crit on that's them done. If you don't, you're still going to do quite a lot of damage, and they're going to be close to finishing. They're only going to take a couple of these clips to finish them off, really. And then your Gravity Well, you can either set that straight away, you can set that whenever you want after reducing their defenses. You can clip in Gravity Well. It's quite a long animation cast time, so I generally don't actually use Gravity Well unless I know I'm going to be there for a while. If I know I can take out the other player quite quickly, I'll just use clip attacks. If I'm holding a base, I'm trying to take a node, it's a player that I know is going to, a tank or something that's going to take quite a lot of beating, then I'll lay down my Gravity Well. Obviously you want to be conserving your power as much as possible, and using weapon attacks clipped with your powers. PvP, you know, you can't do a rotation. You're not going to be able to do the same rotation every time. You have to roll the punches. You have to, you know, on the fly work out what's best. Try and sum up, you know, your opponent's moves, their, you know, any tells they've got to, you know, if they're going to block or whatever. You'll generally notice that a lot of people do the same combination. You know, they do a little hit combo and then they block. You know, or when they get to a certain amount of health or they're taking a lot of damage, they're just block anyway. So you can pretty much guess when you need to do your block breakers. But I'll do another video giving the basics of PvP at some point, just to help out anyone who's struggling a little bit and any new players. Okay, so at the moment I'm using hand blasters. It's a pretty good weapon, I think. One-handed is a very good weapon as well. That's the other one that I like using. But I've noticed that a lot of players don't really know, the better players do, but a lot of players that you face don't really understand hand blasters. They haven't really fought it much. You know, when you're using one-handed, they know it's coming. You know, they know when you're doing your heavy attacks. They know what it looks like. They don't really with hand blasters. It's a bit of a confusing one. Not everybody uses it. And the best one that I use is the solar flare, which is hold triangle. Tap triangle. It does the solar flare. It does quite a nice little bit of damage. Obviously, I'm not against PvP targets, so you won't be able to see the damage properly. But you can clip that, the flare attack, and it's also a block breaker. And not everybody knows that, so they will try and block you, not really understanding what you're doing. Okay, so when I'm going into, be a bit quicker, 11 minutes, right? Yeah. When you go into a match, especially when it's 1 versus 1, my general thing is to straight away do my pot and my shield. So I'm already getting power over time, which you can see by the little lightning bolt under my player name, and the shield, which says that I've obviously got extra defense, which is my shield. You want to be keeping an eye on that. As soon as that electric bolt stays on quite a while, you continue to get in power. So you don't really need to hit that power again until that comes off. Once that's come off, do it again. And just keep going around like that. You don't always have to hit the shield. If you don't need the shield, you don't need the shield. But, you know, it's always good to have extra defense. Okay, so once you've done that, you want to go straight into a weapon attack. So I use the hold triangle, tap triangle, and I clip that with anomaly. So that was that attack, but I clip the second part of the attack with anomaly. Yep, so you do the weapon damage, but you obviously don't see the attack. And that's where most players get thrown out. So they see me doing this, but they don't see me doing the second part of the attack. Yeah. Also, using anomaly is going to stun all the enemies around you, lifting them in the air like that, and applying the same effect there, destabilized. Anomaly also gives that effect. And it's also, if you look underneath the sparring target's name, you see the little red heart that's appeared. That means that they obviously we've debuffed their healing ability, so they can't heal. The effect lasts longer on actual people targets. Okay, so we use power over time and our shield, anomaly, and then we clip into our time bomb. Now, time bomb does a debuff to their defense. So if you look under his name, when I use it, it's hit him with the red shield. And it hits quite quickly. It does more damage once they're destabilized. So after we've done that, we go into anomaly and we hit them. It hits a wide range of targets as well. Hits from a long distance. It's a really good move, really. So pretty much that's what I'll do. I'll come in, I'll give myself power over time and a shield. I'll start doing weapon clips. Always clip your weapon with a power. Keep going like that until they're low life. Once they're at 35%, you stop using anomaly and time bomb, and you start clipping with energy expulsion, which is your finisher, which hits quite hard. And that's pretty much, you know, how I'm going to go in there. You know, it might take quite a few times if they're healing to, you know, to get them down to 35% health. But you just keep using Anomaly and Time Bomb as weapon clips. Just keep using those until you get them low health. Once they're at less than 35 or less health, then you should stop using these, unless obviously you're against a healer and you can't take them out. In that case, obviously make sure that they remain. You don't want them getting out of it, out of the debuff, because obviously they're just going to heal themselves straight up again. But you're going to be wanting using the finisher, which should finish most opponents up, especially if it crits. If you're taking a node or you're going against another target, you know, I would use the damage over time first. Obviously, you just, you know, get some extra damage in there. I don't always use it straight away though, because I don't want to waste the power. You know, if I'm going to be taking out the enemy pretty quick, or they're going to keep moving, there's no point setting up a damage over time. You know, if I'm in a in an area where they, you know, as soon as I put out my damage over time, you know, if they're standing this, they're just going to roll out of it, you know. So there's no point putting it down unless you know that they're not moving. So if it's in 8 versus 8, there's a massive group of, you know, 8 players in a big, you know, group brawl, you know, shove one out. You know, they're going to sit in it, they're all going to be taking damage. It's great times. If they're on a node, stick that out. You know, that pretty much covers an entire node. So they're either going to have to sit and take the damage, or they're going to have to come off the node to protect themselves, which obviously means you can take it. So, you know, that's pretty much what that's for. Or if you've got the Einstein's Ray, one of the superchargers, you obviously use it when you need to. When I'm running out low on power, I don't actually have one on me. I generally have consumables, which again I'll go through, which I normally have on my belt. Obviously can't use them at the moment. I generally use the fire one that gives the damage over time, just quite useful. There's shield ones, you know, there's ones that stun. I haven't got a quantum plan yet, so I might use one of those when they come. But that's pretty much it. You know, you want to be keeping all the time, as much as you can, using a weapon attack clipped with one of your powers. Making sure that you've always got that lightning bolt under your name, that you're getting power over time. And this loadout's really working well. I've gone against some tanks that are higher gear than me, you know, and managed to beat them, which is, you know, pretty good, because especially with the new content, they do have quite a big attack bonus over us, being able to take away our vitalization. But yeah, this is a really good loadout. I suggest you give it a go at least. Against the other ones. You know, the reason it's good is it's quick. You know, each of these powers is very, very quick animation. You know, you've not got any really long animations here apart from your energy expulsion, which is your finisher. So, you know, you can pretty much clip weapon attacks and powers really, really quickly, and they're not going to know what's hit them really. Just as a side note, because we're using that finisher, obviously we're going to want the hand socket empowered channeling, which the channeled finishers, basically we don't get stunned, so we can't get normal control effects, won't affect us while we're using it. And it also adds an extra 2000 toughness while we're using it. So while I'm using this move, I've got an extra 2000 toughness. So if someone's hitting me, you know, they're less, they can't stun me, and then they're not going to stop me from doing this attack. So basically, once you've hit that, you know, they're going to get hit for the 3rd tick, and it's going to hurt them. So, you know, that's, if you don't have that, otherwise they can just pretty much stun you. You know, they can pretty much stun you straight away or something. And obviously you don't get that last tick, and it's pretty crap on the first couple of ticks. And that's pretty much it, yeah. So I'll leave you with that. Have a look, have a play. You know, if you like it, comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. And if you don't, you know, suggest your loadouts. You know, obviously there's lots of different combinations and trials. This is what's working for me, and I thought I'd share it. Hopefully it helps anyone out. Okay, guys. Oops. Fail. Cheers.